Welcome to the Midnight Burn. In the small Mississippi town of McComb, where cotton fields stretched like prayers into the horizon, there lived a man who wore the mask of salvation, a man who played with fate itself, thinking he could control destiny. But when you dance with darkness long enough, the music always stops. Tonight, we dive into the shadows that lurked behind the stage lights of the Jubilee Performing Arts Center, where dreams were supposed to take flight, but nightmares took root instead. McComb, Mississippi, a town where everybody knows everybody, where trust runs deep as the Pearl River. In this close-knit community, Terrance Alexander wasn't just a name, he was a savior. The executive director of the Jubilee Performing Arts Center, a man who promised to lift up the forgotten children, the poor, the vulnerable, the special needs kids who society often overlooks. "I'll help them," he'd say, opening his home to those who had nowhere else to turn. But behind those charitable words lay a predator's calculation. He was moving pieces on a board where children couldn't even see they were playing his twisted game. For years, Alexander danced this deadly waltz, believing his steps would never falter. He targeted the defenseless, children whose voices were already whispered, whose trust came easy because, well, kindness had been so rare in their young lives. Between 2012 and 2018, the Jubilee Center's walls witnessed horrors that would make the Mississippi mud itself recoil. Multiple children, innocent souls who came seeking art and expression, instead found themselves trapped in Alexander's web of exploitation and abuse. The dance continued in shadows. 3 counts of sexual battery, 6 counts of child exploitation, 1 count of child pornography possession, each charge a life shattered, a childhood stolen, a future forever altered. But even the most careful predators eventually stumble. On December 15, 2020, Alexander's deadly performance came to an abrupt end. McComb police arrested him for attempting to entice another child, the moment when his carefully choreographed deception finally collapsed. The wheels of justice turned slow in Mississippi, but they turned sure. October 28, 2021. A grand jury looked at the evidence and didn't just see charges, they saw a pattern. A predator who had been pulling strings in the darkness for nearly a decade. When his case finally reached Pike County Circuit Court, 12 jurors heard the truth. They saw through the mask, past the charitable facade, straight to the monster beneath. Guilty on all counts, no mercy, no second chances. February 17, 2023. The gavel fell like thunder across the Delta. 240 years in prison, 40 years for each count of child exploitation, to be served consecutively, not concurrent. Consecutive. The judge made sure this performance would be Alexander's last. Even when Alexander tried to appeal, thinking he could orchestrate one final act, the Mississippi Court of Appeals saw right through him. February 16, 2023. Unanimous decision. The convictions stand. The sentence stands. Justice stands. Alexander sits behind bars now, his performing days over, his manipulation finished. 240 fucking years to contemplate every choice, every crime, every child whose trust he violated. We keep shining light into the darkest corners where predators think they can hide. Because in this eternal struggle between good and evil, between justice and cruelty, between protection and predation, fate keeps moving, destiny keeps turning, and we're all watching where the pieces fall. Until next time, catch the dice, they rollin'.